Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's enjoying Manifest so far. My name is Jaewonen, and I'll be moderating today's session. Thank you very much for taking your time and joining us today. We are using two monitors today, but in case our text is too small or some images are not visible to you, we have prepared a QR code on the bottom right corner. We'll give you 5 seconds to scan the QR code. Okay, let's get started. For a bit of context, Samsung SDS is a global logistics company powered by advanced IT capabilities. There are two core pillars in Samsung SDS, which are logistics and IT divisions. In IT division, we focus on cloud and digital transformation, where in logistics, we focus on end-to-end logistics operation and execution. Today, we'll be focusing on logistics business division. Every year, Samsung SDS handles about 220 ocean and air freight. And for transportation, we handle about 750,000. Today, throughout the session, you'll hear a word cello a lot from us. When I say cello, I'm not referring to a musical instrument. It is a Samsung SDS's integrated global logistics platform that connects and manages end-to-end logistics. When I say end-to-end logistics, I am referring to moving raw materials from the factories or vendors and delivering them to end users or customers. Today, we'll be focusing on how data-driven information can help our customers make smarter and faster decisions, as well as to prepare for any global risks or disruptions. Today, we have three great speakers here with us. The first agenda, which is Global Control Tower and any risks related to ocean freight, will be covered by our Vice President Allison Ji-hyun Lim, followed by the second agenda, which is Contract Logistics, will be covered by our Vice President Wilco Kors. And lastly, we're very excited to have our guest speaker, Martin Sillison from Kyocera. He'll share his valuable experiences working with Samsung SDS using our smart platform, Cello. So let's get started with our first agenda. Please join me in welcoming Allison Ji-hyun Lim.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. Let's start by looking at the uncertainty facing global supply chain and logistics today. The challenges we face cannot be explained by a single factor. The first, geopolitical risks. And the wars and regional conflicts have unavoidable global ripple effects, and geopolitical tensions are wreaking havoc on global trade and supply chains. The second, global supply chain restructuring. The companies are diversifying their supply chain strategies like nearshoring with nationalistic policy. The supply and demand structures are changing now. The climate is also one of the challenges to disrupt the major gateways. Furthermore, environmental regulations are becoming stricter, and it forces all stakeholders to reconfigure global networks. These major challenges are intensifying our operational complexity and heavily impacting freight rates. Then this slide shows the trend of SCFI, Shanghai Containerized Freight Index, for U.S. West Coast and East Coast since 2008. The supply chain, the risks existed even in the past, but as you see the right side of the graph, the risk types are diversifying and the frequency is increasing recently. It triggers drastic spikes and changes in freight rates. Then, how do we turn invisible risks into something we can see and actively manage? And how do we improve logistics control and operational efficiency in this reality? We, Samsung SDS, address these questions by three core competencies. First, end-to-end visibility. Now, we don't mean that the visibility is just a tracking and tracing. So what I mean by visibility is about the ensuring that all stakeholders looking at the same information at the same time. This is about transparency that creates a single and trusted reality, single and trusted version of reality for service provider and then customers. The second is the analytics and intelligence, data and AI-driven to predictive capability. That we analyze what has happened in the past, what is happening now, and what is likely to happen next. And we proactively detect the potential risks, both existing and emerging disruption factors in each segment. The AI and machine learning based on risk management and predictive capability are at the core of Samsung SDS logistics operation. Third, the agility and execution. The prediction alone has no value if it doesn't move into real operational action. And through a system and data-driven operation, we respond quickly and flexibly to the customer needs. Our differentiation is not just a prediction, but agile execution based on that insight. Then how is Samsung SDS working for the customer? At Samsung SDS, we monitor and optimize the entire process through our global control tower. This is enabled by our integrated logistics platform, Cello. Cello is the engine to process the massive volumes of data and support optimization across inbound and outbound logistics management through backend. And Cello's Care is the customer-facing digital platform providing on user experience and accessibility for shippers at front end. The customers can get real-time data and intuitive reports through our system Cello at the same time automatically. All kinds of operations are centrally managed through a global control tower, ensuring visibility, and then the defining response strategies, the executing contingency plans, and driving continuous optimization efficiency based on our system Cello. Then how can global control tower sense and respond to risks occurring across the world? Then every day, the world generates massive news and information. Cello collects and analyzes 60,000 news articles per day. Then among them, our AI tool filters 750 logistics-related articles and identifies 70 critical issues directly impacting our containers currently in transit under Samsung SDS operation. And also, the Samsung SDS and Cello classifies the risk levels and extract the relevant data and the report potential issues to the stakeholders, including customers, automatically. To give you a better idea, let's watch the quick video.
Samsung SDS Global Risk Management. At Samsung SDS's GCC, an integrated logistics control center, global logistics flows are managed in real time. From sensing to responding to risks, real-time vessel and aircraft locations, transportation route, and port congestion are monitored to rapidly detect cargo irregularities. First, daily global news and issues from over 300 logistics sites are gathered. Risks are identified based on past data, and around 70 logistics risk cases are detected daily on average. The detected risks are classified into 3 levels, based on their severity, and once the impact of each risk is automatically sorted, they are disseminated to logistics operators in real time. What if operations were disrupted due to a specific risk? Through a meeting involving the Risk Emergency Response Team, logistics operators, the affected cargo is comprehensively analyzed.
Thank you very much, Allison, for your detailed information as well as showing us the video. It really helps us understand how cello tracking works. I do have a personal question. I personally think ocean freight is one of the hardest or challenging service scope in logistics. Because there are so many external factors that we don't expect. And I am wondering if there's any way you could show us how the tracking tool works, especially related to the ocean freight.
Sure, I'll go into more details and introduce Samsung SDS data-driven operations. Then mainly about three key features: port congestion, port scheme risk sensing, and predictive ETA in ocean transportation. Before that, did you know that every day Samsung SDS monitors an average of 45,000 containers in transit, along with 1,800 vessels either carrying or scheduled to carry those containers? Could you picture the scale? The managing this scale of cargoes and vessels manually or with siloed data and the system inevitably creates operational blind spots, and human error will be a constant risk. That's why Samsung SDS manages the entire logistics process through a standardized system and data-driven global control tower. Now, I'm happy to share more about the diverse system capabilities of Samsung SDS in order to provide stability to the customers. Then first, we closely monitor the port congestion. Then for about 150 the main seaports. Then we monitor how many vessels are waiting around the outer ports and how long it takes to berth. And then cello indexes and visualizes the port congestion, the status, to provide better visibility. We prioritize the services that are less exposed to congestion and transshipment delay risks, and also actively seek alternative transshipment port where the port situation looks normal. The second, the port scheme risk sensing. Then despite the best efforts, unavoidable risks and severe delays can occur during transit. In such cases, the shipping carriers try to minimize the downstream impact by strategically executing the port skips or service changes. While carriers' decisions may increase their operational workload, they are very critical to maintain the supply chain stability. In order to mitigate the impact, we analyze daily vessel schedules across 142 ports through the 15 carriers. Then we can notify through the port skip dashboard that when a vessel may skip the port, or if transit time is possibly increased more than 7 days. This enables early detection of vessels or ports at high risk of port skip due to severe delays, allowing us to mitigate the risk through early coordination and alternative port selection. And then, as you know, the market shows the ocean schedule reliability is just around 60%. So we are creating our own predictive ETA based on our predictive capability in order to provide more reliable schedule to the customers. That we accumulate logistics relevant data through 130 carriers and 735 ports. That we categorize and pattern various kinds of data by very detailed levels. Then this enables us to generate predictive ETA, reflecting risk factors in the model. Then when we compare the accuracy between carriers and Samsung SDS, applying the same criteria to the cargoes we are operating. Now our system achieved on average over 93%, while carriers' information was 76%. then this proves Chero is delivering the superior performance based on our predictive capability. Then this is one of our systems we are using to monitor in-transit shipment status. Here, we can see the real-time data transmitted from carriers and also actual vessel movement and speed given by AIS. However, we go beyond simple tracking. That we are utilizing those information with our own predictive ETA, reflecting real-time variables such as port situation, weather, and transit time between ports, etc. Then predictive ETAs can be shared with the customers in front-end system, Chero Square, and also it can be transmitted directly into customer systems. Our customers can make plans for production, inventory, and sales, then based on the information given by Samsung SDS with greater stability. Then with this level of prediction accuracy, a Samsung SDS and destination can finalize delivery appointment automatically and secure truck capacity 7 to 10 days before vessel arrival. Then it is making more reliable commitment to the buyers in advance. And then I introduced what and how Samsung SDS is doing for the customers. That we are providing the stability and efficiency to the customers that based on the competencies of visibility, predictive capability, and agile execution through our integrated system Chero and data-driven global control tower. And I believe that our customers are enjoying operation excellence of Samsung SDS in an increasingly uncertain global environment.
Thank you very much, Allison, for your valuable insights. Now, moving on to the next topic. Mr. Kors will explain about the contract logistics related to the warehouse management as well as transportation visibility. Please welcome Wilco Kors.
Thank you, Jaewon, and good afternoon, everybody. I will give an introduction to the inland control tower solution, which is a best practice case we use in Europe in contract logistics. And I will give highlights on some innovations we have done in this service. So cargo owners, they have some common issues when managing the supply chain. They experience fragmented control, lack of visibility, reactive management, and sub-optimization. But don't worry, we developed the inlet control tower as a solution to overcome these issues. We organize decisions by a central team. We provide a digital image of the goods flow in a supply chain. We foresee bottlenecks and preventive measures, and we use intelligent tools and data to optimize the performance. We consider the inland control tower as a central hub, offering full visibility and taking control over the inland logistics network from port to final customer. It is a 4PL service that we can deliver together with several 3PL services like warehousing. In Europe, we manage like 40 warehouses. And if you take the warehouse perspective, we make a distinction between inbound management and outbound management. So at the foundation of our solution is our magic Cello system. Cello integrates the logistics operations in a supply chain. And together with Cello, we use a wide range of technologies like robotics, automation, augmented reality, Internet of Things, and AI. And with this technology is our core differentiator. We choose for in-house development of tailor-made solutions, which we can deliver fast and with moderate cost. And with new technologies, we keep on innovating our solution. So now that you have some understanding of our inland control tower solution, I will highlight a number of innovations. First of all, our logistics order management system, which we use as middleware between a client ERP system and 3PL logistics systems. And this OMS orchestrates the interplay between warehouse and transport and also the overall distribution network. It converts ERP orders into logistic units like boxes, pallets, loading meters, using logistics master data. It is not a standard solution. In our OMS, we configure order flows in line with customer-specific business rules, and we can set up different flows for different customer groups. This OMS helps us to optimize the logistics execution on behalf of the client and to take full benefit of order synergy. Our next innovation is end-to-end visibility. Here we move from event-based tracking to real-time tracking. This provides visibility royale. My colleague Alison already explained about ocean vessel tracking based on AIS, and the resulting predictive ATA we use for our inbound planning. For outbound management, we use truck GPS for real-time tracking. And this is valuable for customers who either have high-value goods or who need time-definite deliveries. Do we keep this visibility for ourselves? Of course not. We try to be fully transparent to our customers by offering a tailor-made dashboard. For this, we use a BI tool receiving real-time data from our Cello platform. We can make any customized view that the customer desires. For example, an on-hand work overview that allows the customer to make a reliable estimate of the month-end sales result, or a warehouse occupancy forecast, helping to foresee any capacity issues. We use data not only for visibility, but also for optimization. An innovation we are proud of is the Cello Loading Optimizer. This is where university PhD meets the blue-collar worker in the warehouse. We mix intelligent algorithms with best practices of the shop floor for load building. Together, this results in optimized configuration of boxes, pallets, and truckloads. With this loading optimizer, we can generate very significant savings in warehouse and transport costs, but it's not a standalone tool, it's really integrated part of our control tower process. Moving on to warehouse automation. Over the last years, we have tested the suitability of a lot of technologies, and in the end, we integrated 15 smart solutions to our Cello platform, and these can be delivered in a modular way and providing a real productivity gain. More recently, we also started developing AI applications to automate the clerical task. Here for this, we use several tools like Nathan, but also our own Samsung SDS Fabrics AI platform. As an example, we developed various sub-agents to support the daily routine job of a transport planner. We estimate we can reduce our man hours with 30%. This concludes my explanation of the inbound control tower.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kors, for your detailed explanation about the warehouse management and transportation visibility. And also, it's very great to know about how Cello enables our value to the customers. Now, moving on to the next topic, let's have a maritime citizen from Kyocera who will share his experience working with Samsung SDS.
Yes, thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity today to share briefly the cooperation and the partnership between SDS and also the journey that we're on. For those of you who are maybe less familiar with Kyocera Document Solutions, we provide a combination of hardware, software, and services to manage document flows within the organizations. We are mainly active in office environments, but also, for instance, like in hospitals or schools, and also expanding now more to other industries like textile printing and production print, so high volume printing. Several years ago, around 4 or 5 years ago, we embarked on a study to reevaluate our supply chain set up, our logistics footprint for the European market. And we also used this time to evaluate, okay, should we continue with the partner at that moment, or shall we continue in the future with a new logistics service provider? Before I go there, just briefly to give you a feel of our logistics footprint. We source mainly in Asia. Our own factories bring this into Europe via ocean freight, rail or air. And from here, from our main DC, we deliver to our customers. So this can be distributors, dealers, but also directly to end customers. In terms of size, we bring roughly 4 to 5,000 40-feet container into Europe, and we ship out roughly 1 million parcels and 200,000 pallets a year, just to give you a feel for the size of the operation. Following the previous presentations, obviously also for us it was important to reevaluate what new technology is available out there in the market, which suppliers are out there. But for us, more important even is how do we embed that into our own process, and how does that work in terms of the jobs that our own employees have versus the 3PL. So we spend a lot of time to understand how does this fit in to our day-to-day process, and how do we actually get the value out. Next slide, please. Yes. So we spend a lot of time with some potential candidates, first sharing our goals and making sure that we share the same vision, have the same dream, so to say. And I think here, together with Samsung, quite early on, we figured out that we're definitely on the same page here. Not only in terms of the roles and responsibilities, but also how do we want to use this data effectively going forward? And how do we get to the point where we can not only outsource the execution to Samsung, but make sure that they can also own and manage the whole planning side as well, which enables us to focus more on our S&OP, S&OE cycles, and use the output of their planning process instead of doing the planning ourselves. Obviously, this takes time. I think we scheduled quite early on already a lot of time, more than a year, to make sure that we can do this transfer. Our teams worked very closely together to share the knowledge that we have as a shipper, but also to explain what is for us a priority, what not, and how do you decide where should you act and where not. So this really is also based, of course, on a lot of business rules which you have to set together. And the other part, which took us quite some time as well, is to understand the data quality and the data availability that we have, that we provide and put into the systems of Samsung and combine in order to make all of the tools that have been presented actually effective as well. Go to the next slide. Now, a couple of years later, and I think this doesn't summarize all, but these are some of the main points which we experience within Kyocera. I think the first part, which was one of our main goals, we've definitely achieved. All of my teams are on a daily basis connected with SDS, but we don't play an active role in the logistics planning and execution. We only manage the exceptions. How? Based on also what Wilco presented, based on the BI tools available, we can easily monitor everything that's going on. And if we see anything out of the ordinary, or if we want to reprioritize what's being executed, we can easily do so. So this is a big step forward. In terms of efficiency and flexibility, because of the fact that a lot of it has now been automated, a lot of processes are now dictated, also, for instance, for blue-collar workers on the floor, it means that they have to work in a certain way, and that also for us is a very important part in terms of the quality that's been delivered. It's very consistent. There's almost no glitches there that we see. In terms of visibility, I think you've seen the tools as well presented today. We have all of our divisions have direct access now to this information. Also, a lot of our customers have direct access, and this links then to the part of the communication, which has changed as well. A lot of former communication, either by email or phone calls, is just not needed anymore. The information is there. That also means that by now a ticketing system for us suffices, and that leaves a lot of time for our employees to focus on what we want them to focus on. So for us, a lot of improvement, yet you do need to, of course, take into account some time to make this all work and make sure that you're on the same page with your supplier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solison, for sharing your valuable opinions about working with Samsung SDS. In summary, Samsung SDS turns invisible risks into something manageable using our data-driven analytics and full integration from origin to destination. By providing more detailed information as well as accurate data to our customers, we help our customers minimize their risks and costs while maximizing operational efficiency and stability through their entire logistics chain. That is all we have prepared for the day. We have about 4 minutes left. So if anyone have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands and let us know.
Hi, this is for the customer. Basically, like you found an exception. What are the options you have? Because the fact is that there are only so many. I mean, so what, right? Like, okay, fine. You found that there is an event. There is an environmental issue. There could be any exception, right? What are the options that you have? Is it already been solved by SDS, or is it something in the pipeline? Like, how are you guys thinking about the action space? While identifying the signal, understanding the root cause of the problem is one thing, but like, how are you converting it into actionable insights?
I'm so sorry. I'm not really sure if I got your questions correctly. But are you asking if Samsung SDS is the only platform option for the Kyocera?
No. I'm asking what all the as a consignee owner, what are the options you have when you identify there is an exception and you forecasted there is a problem? Is it just knowing the information, or is there any action that you take on top of that information? Is my question.
One second.
I introduced the three key features: the impulse keep, the risk sensing, and port congestion and predictive ETA, the skills based on the predictive capabilities. And then our system Cello, they notifies if there's any issues and problems during the in transit, the over 7 days, the transit time, or the impulse keep. And then we get automatically notified from the Cello system. Then every users can get the same information. And then also our global control tower, they execute the response strategy for the customers. And then customers and we Samsung SDS have the same information on Cello, and that we can get the same contingency plan to solve these problems. And then as I explained, the accuracy of predictive ETA is 93%. And then sometimes the terminals decided they cut and run, they suddenly, at times it's really difficult to find the problem solving. But except those cases, the most of cases that we can get the predictive ETA, and then also with the accuracy for the customers.